Case of the Mondays. Case of the Mondays. Case of the case of the case of the Mondays. Case of the Mondays. Case of the Mondays. His name's Case and it's Monday, so you're about to listen to Case of the Mondays.
Yeah, no, that happens to me all the time. Like you walk, I always wonder about that. You ever walk by someone that you like, you go, I think we hooked up.
Yes.
And you go, they don't remember me? And then you go, is that the person? Did I imagine it? Is this not real? Did I have a fever dream? Because it's like, if you never tell your friend and you never say anything to anyone, that person wakes up or you wake up and whatever, and you both, go about your lives, and then like there's no memory of it except for like you're a drunk, hazy kind of remembrance, like a hookup that you pass by. But it's so weird in New York City. I've had that experience too, where like you walk by someone and they look familiar and you're like, no, that's not somebody that, and you go, maybe, but then same.
I've definitely run into people. I used to be notorious for like a one night stand where I would hang out with that person from the bar through the next day, just cuddling and hanging out breakfast.
Notorious for being a great human being.
No, like
I was notorious for being awesome.
You have to hear how it ends. And then then we have breakfast in the morning. I'm like doing this. I'm doing this. And I'm being very sweet. We're talking about future plans. And then I go home.
Yeah.
Take a nap.
Yeah.
Wake up. And I go, why the fuck are you still calling me?
You would do a 180. They go, I thought we were in love. You're like, who is this?
Oh my God. I feel bad, but not that bad, because I swear to God, these
you
men,
only had sex the one, or you only hooked up like really
it's
the
only
one time,
and these men turn into
so
fucking
funny.
stalkers.
Right.
I mean, seriously, this one guy.
I don't know what his problem is. I just told him I loved him and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. And then he calls me and he goes, babe, and I was like, what do you mean, babe?
I've been doing that since high school.
That's so funny. You keep saying you're notorious for that. Like it's a bad thing. Like I'm just like a really nice person that ends up being uninterested in somebody.
No, and like this guy in LA, it happened
with me, with you. You don't know this. So we were. Do you remember years ago? I was with. Do you know?
That happened with us.
No. I was at Gotham with you.
Yeah.
And
I did it. I bounced.
You had Asha.
I do it to everybody. Wait,
right.
What?
You had Asha with you at Gotham.
Okay, this is a different story.
I just never mentioned it to you because we were like, what? It doesn't really matter. But like, I hooked up with this girl.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I was with you and Asha. And we were just hanging out, and it was like a beautiful summer day. We were just walking, and I think we were both holding Asha's hand. This is like she was much younger.
Oh yeah, it was
sweet. It was so much fun. It was sweet. And this woman I hooked up with like 2 days ago just walks by.
She thought we were a family.
She full on looked at me with the eyes of like, oh my God, well, I'm not going to ruin his family, but what a son of a bitch. And I was like, I've never said anything to her since. And I honestly just thought of it when I saw you. We were just talking about walking by people.
Amazing.
She walked by me, the look on her face, and I couldn't bring it up because I didn't want to like ruin Asha's innocence. I was like, I don't know if I can say this. She thought we were a family.
There's no explaining it to these people.
No, I was like,
there's no
we're
point.
just both holding her hand because I'm not her father. That's the reason. This is not my family.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. You never knew that. It's really funny.
I love that. We're both holding hands because I'm not her father. This is not something that happens.
You can't explain that.
Me holding Asha's hand with her actual dad is not a thing that happens.
A sunny, beautiful Sunday, right? And we're literally just walking through like New York City. Couldn't be more of like it's in a movie.
I think we were swinging her.
We were swinging her. Yeah, that's right. We were. I think there was also there was also music playing. I think Joe Cocker was feeling all right. I think that song was playing.
This lady walks by.
I think there was a voiceover of a guy like, Calise and Kase just moved to New York City. They're trying to make it work. Yeah, that woman walked by.
That was our last comic standing tape. You know how they tape you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was fun. That was a weird day just because I remember I was just taking care of. Remember I had to get in a cab? Mm-hmm. And that was just like, she was just too young to understand that like she was gonna see you again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so sweet. She just looked like, is it bye forever? I was like, no, we're going to see your mom in like a second.
You guys had fun.
We had a great time. We just went around the block a couple of times and came back. Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time. But yeah, it's so weird. Like one time I was with family And this girl like looked at me and like smiled like, and I was like, all right. And then I walked and I was like, oh, I wonder, do we kiss or something? I don't know what that was about. I was assuming it was like a dating thing or something. I don't know. It's weird if you see a stranger and they look at you.
And they're looking at you funny?
Yeah.
And you used to be like a raging alcoholic, so why would you remember her? Me too, though. Me too. I've been sober now for 10 months.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's great.
I remember all my hookups now.
You remember all of them?
All of them. They're all with my boyfriend this time.
Oh, you were only hooking up with your boyfriend? That's pretty cool.
First time.
That's pretty cool. You've never hooked up with anyone else besides your boyfriend. Wow.
This is the first time it's happened.
Oh, that's so uncomfortable for me to hear. You know what I mean?
No, wait. No, yep. Let's just say, like, that didn't happen.
All of your exes.
Yeah, that didn't happen with Derek.
I know, but I'm just saying, I'm friends with like all of your exes. That's why I'm like,
hey,
it doesn't matter.
They don't care. They're all doing great.
Well, yeah,
and we're still all friends.
You are, and they've all have subsequent relationships. I don't think anyone is even.
They're all living with their new girlfriends.
They're not even anyone's last girlfriend. You
no,
know what I mean?
right? There's been like several in between since then.
Isn't it weird how
that was in my 20s? Like, I'm much older now.
I remember I was like, oh, I'm gonna like. I remember like I broke up with this girl and I was like, oh, it's gonna like. I wonder, have that feeling. You go, oh, what if we run into each other? And then then you date two more people,
and then you just don't give a fuck.
You're like, oh, hey, you, how are you? Like, oh, wow.
You know what's happened with me is because I dated several comics. Like, what is it? I was in a relationship with at least two, right? And what happens is it's been literally 10 years or more since I dated the first one. Yeah. Like a legitimate relationship, not just hooking up. And I've been able to be friends with them since, or just seen them around. Okay, so put it like this.
You have to make an effort to not be friends, I would think.
Yeah, well, I did at first. So you're forced in the same scenarios. You're forced to be on lineups together. You're forced to see each other. Right. And after a while, especially after you move on in relationships, you start to see the other people as just human beings. And I get along so well with like Derek and Kanal, like the same amount. I get along with them the same amount as the reason we got together. If I'm not saying it correctly, but the reason we got together is still there. Yeah. Like we get along and we have the same exact chemistry as we did.
Yeah.
But I realize now that I'm older and that I'm with somebody who is more compatible, I realized it wasn't a compatibility thing just because we were having fun. Like there was a time when I thought, I was like, we got to be together. Look at how well we get along. I just honestly had no template for what a relationship was supposed to look like. So I was like, we're not.
You're like, I'm friends
angry
with
each other.
Yeah. You go, we're getting along.
Yeah. We're supposed to be together.
That's what
that's what I used to think it was.
Happens with, people hook up with their friends eventually, but, some people don't. And I'm just like, you can kind of be in that weird situation where you're like, well, is this it? And it really takes, I think, like you said, like time, and you get a little older and you go, oh, this is what a relationship feels like.
I'm in weird. One finally where I go, oh my God. So as much as I'm in love with this guy, if it doesn't work out, this is all hypothetical. If it hypothetically doesn't work out, I know what never to be attracted to again. I realize that I just have fun with people. Like for instance, every time I see Brendan Sagalow, I'm like, oh my God, I love this guy so much.
Right. Great guy.
But now that I'm with Scott, I realize that's not what it is.
Right.
So I didn't know that before.
Yeah. So before you go,
I was so innocent.
We get along really well.
I was such a puppy. I'm like a puppy dog.
We should. That's why you're like, hey, do you want to like get brunch and like we can roll around and like cuddle the whole day and watch movies, and you get home and they're like, hey, Calise, and you're like, who's this? And they're like, it's Mike, and you're like, listen, man, this is really pushy. You're like, all I did was text you, and you're like, exactly.
And I think another thing is because I used to have so much anxiety, and I'm like dealing with all my anxiety and depression now. I needed somebody who made me laugh. I thought that was love. Right. If somebody can make me laugh, I was like, this is love, because I felt good.
I mean, okay, I'll say this. Like, doesn't that, when you don't drink, right, you have to deal with all these uncomfortable feelings now. Because the drinking, you just go, I mean, for anyone, it's everyone has, I think, their like, coping mechanism, and drinking is like one of them. And then like, if you don't, I mean, I've talked about this before. It's like, you don't drink for a long period of time. You kind of just wake up like, angry or like upset, and you go, irritable. What is this? Why am I like kind of annoyed at everyone? What the fuck? You go, oh fuck, and that's when you hear people like, humanity, I don't have any fucking people are the worst or whatever. And then you get like a happy drunk, you wake up hungover the next day, you're like, we gotta save this world, man. It's a beautiful place, you know?
You wake up, your muscles are all relaxed, right. You slept better than ever.
But like it's not, I've never come to a conclusion of like one being better or worse, but it just feels like the sober is more honest. For sure. Like you kind of have to live more like in an honest place, or you kind of be like, wow, that really that was not fun last night, you know?
Yeah. But the thing about getting sober, if you ever self-medicate with alcohol, because I don't think I was like the kind of drunk, it didn't derail my life, but it was definitely a problem for relationships, friendships, you know? It was definitely a problem with maintaining my mood.
Like 10 months is like very impressive.
I think, I'm pretty much done.
Great.
But here's what
you're gonna start drinking again now?
I think I'm done. No. I think I'm done with alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm really trying to get my shit together. And I think the one thing they don't tell you, or anybody, I've never heard this before, when you stop drinking, you need to go, like they say AA meeting. You got to go to an AA meeting.
You could be like a dry drunk. I've heard that, yeah.
But what's that called?
A dry drunk?
What's that?
That's like when you still have the reasons for the alcoholism, but minus the alcoholism.
Right. And so that thing right there needs therapy, and it doesn't need just AA group meetings, group pity parties. I fucking hate, sorry AA, but I hate you. I mean, but I might have had a bad experience with AA. It's like they're some of them are like vampires, you know what I mean? They're like, ooh, a new one of us, and then they just want to I don't know, I had a bad experience.
Like a culture to it, you mean, that you feel like
it just didn't feel like anything but misery, right?
But it's a great place to see a lot of comics.
I didn't even go to one of those.
Comedians.
Honestly, I gotta go to a different one.
You go
a younger one,
AA
one with more
or
fun
open mic?
people.
What's happening?
I was there with people who were just miserable, and they were all older, and they were all, it was really gross. Anyway, So I think they need to tell everybody who gets off alcohol to get on an antidepressant. I don't think you should be just alone with yourself. If you ever needed to self-medicate, then you need medication.
Well, I mean, that's when I see people, I will say every time I see someone stop drinking completely, I see their life always kind of take a general gradual upturn. Yeah. Especially over the course of not necessarily a week or two, but over the course of a year, then 2 years, it seems to get more and more pronounced. And it's like it's really funny as someone that I drink from time to time, and you see that and you go, wow, I bet you things would be great in 3 years. And I go, I won't drink for 3 years. I could do that. And I'm like, nah, I'm not. You
still drinking?
That. I mean, I drink, not anything crazy. Like, I don't like go out drinking, but I'll have a drink after a show or whatever, after I'm done, maybe like before.
But it doesn't look like how you used to be.
No, I used to drink like I was.
Too. We were young.
I used to drink when I was. We met when I was like 25.
We were both in our 20s.
So I was like drinking like kind of still like college. I was like taking all these shots.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to do, and like also try to do comedy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes really hand in hand.
Yeah.
Comedy can create the problem because we get paid in it. I remember I was at this nice restaurant, and there were these two ladies talking. I kept paying attention. I was with Ash and Scott, but I kept looking at them because they were sipping their wine and then they fucking got up and both left half.
I thought you were going to be like, and then they fucked. What? These old ladies in the restaurant.
They had an alcohol problem. No,
an alcohol problem.
They both got up. They weren't even old. They were like maybe 50.
Okay.
Right? And they both got up and left half a glass of wine. I was like, how dare you? This is when I was still drinking. Because to me, that's currency.
That? Yeah.
We were paid in drink tickets, and then you would get somebody else's drink tickets because they were sober. That was like a great night.
That wasn't a bad, yeah. And then, some places that you performed at, they would like keep hooking. They'd be like, hey, if you want to just drink all night and give me like
exactly.
this much money.
And they weren't paying us. And so then that was our good time.
That was a good time.
And our
after
stress
relief
was
over. Yeah, and our stress relief.
I mean, I wouldn't take it back, but I'm glad it's over.
It's even same. And it's so much, when it's closer to the beginning of where you started, it can be a rough beginning, because stand-up's not easy and you're figuring it out, and then you get off stage and you're like, sometimes that, if I really like take a second and think about it, there used to be a couple where you go, whoa, man, that really that hurt in a way that I didn't think they didn't dislike my jokes, they disliked me. They were like, hey, you as a person, no. And you're like, oh, fuck, man. So you really go, wow, this is, because you're not used to that when you first start, because it doesn't happen to you. And then, it's just a combination of like you getting better and you also getting better at processing that, where like it does get easier on some level, and you're not really dealing with the same fucking like people looking at you like, what's happening right now?
I dealt with a lot of my anxiety. Like I would always need at least 2 glasses of wine before the show, but that was when I got better. Like 2 glasses was when I was better. Like I needed to be sloshed to get on stage when I first started. But the opposite is also true. Like if you kill and you're drinking, you celebrate with drinking.
That's true.
There's no not drinking.
I've seen.
There's drinking because you're sad, and there's drinking because you're happy.
And you go, you know what I should be doing? Drinking. Like no matter what happens. Yeah. You want to get some food? Be like, will we be drinking? Sounds good. Let's go.
Yeah.
Every kind of situation you go, it'd be great here. Some drinking.
Some drinking.
Yeah. If anything.
Everything.
For everything.
And I haven't lost that.
Right.
I haven't lost that. Like, I just replaced it with vape.
You just do.
But I think it's a lot better for me than alcohol.
You're just smoking a...
Everything goes better with vape now. It's like I want some cereal, but not until I vaped. Yeah, weed vape because it just everything tastes better.
A lot of people has weed in it, right?
I'm saying weed.
Yeah. So, which is, by the way, it's going to be legal.
Thank God.
Like real soon.
I stopped vaping when I had Asha. I stopped not vaping. There was no vaping then. I stopped doing weed because I was just terrified of any kind of lawful action.
Oh yeah. No, I get that.
But the whole idea of consuming marijuana has changed, and thank God.
Yeah, that's great. But and the idea of like having something as like a treat, that's kind of all you really need. You just need something to replace. That's why I see a lot of people like drinking a ton of coffee, or they start getting.
I drink a ton of coffee.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of Smores cereal.
I remember I stopped drinking for like a year, and not really, obviously. Like when I said I stopped drinking, I just meant I never had more than like 2 drinks. Still have like 1 or 2 over the course of like the weekend. And I remember eventually like I would go like after like 3 weeks 4 weeks of like 0 drinks, I would just crave these large meals of like ice cream. I just wanted ice cream. And then I talked to my friend, he's like, that's like a thing, like your body craves the sugar because it's not, because alcohol like turns into sugar for anyone that doesn't know.
Right.
It's basically you're just drinking like a Sprite.
Yeah.
And your body does.
That's what happened to me. I got addicted to S'more cereal. There's like 3 new cereals that came out.
There's no A for S'more cereal. So here you go. I got addicted to, there's 3 new cereals that came out. There's 3. You go, I'm much better. I'm completely sober. Let me tell you, Kase, there's 3 new cereals that came out, and I'm addicted to S'more cereal.
No, S'more cereal. It's like a mixture of Golden Grahams.
No, I get it.
Marshmallows and Cocoa Puffs.
That sounds great.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then they also did something to...
Especially if you're vaping.
They did something to Lucky Charms. They combined Frosted Flakes with the marshmallows.
You're telling me they did something to Lucky Charms, right?
Yeah.
You came in here telling me I'm sober. Kase, things are doing great. There's 3 new cereals out. They're crazy. I'm vaping. They've done something to Lucky Charms, Kase. You're out of context. This is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. You're like, I have, so they've done something to Lucky Charms. S'more cereal is crazy. Tell me, what is the,
There's 3.
Okay.
So S'mores is doing that.
What do they do to Lucky Charms? They combined?
Frosted Flakes and Lucky Charms.
Wow.
There's Frosted Flakes with Lucky Charms marshmallows.
Oh my God. I hated the non-sweet portion of Lucky Charms.
They're cardboard. You would just like move them out of the way to get to the marshmallows. And Frosted Flakes were always great because they're sugary. And so you push fucking sugar with sugar. It's a problem.
It's a problem. It sounds great.
Yeah.
There's no more Cookie Crisp. That's what I heard. I don't know. I feel like you're more up to date on what's going on. But
S'more cereal is better than Cookie Crisp.
Oh,
sorry.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. That's okay.
You got to try it.
It's okay.
It's a problem.
Yeah. I will try it. I mean, what else am I doing? One night I won't drink and I'll get some cereal. Get real nuts,
And my other new addiction is binging on Netflix. I love it.
What is the 3rd cereal that you're having?
I couldn't remember it. I tried to move on.
Calise, we're not moving on until you remember your 3rd cereal. Kase, I'm sober now. These cereals are crazy. There's 3.
Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops.
Oh my God. It was the first addiction before S'mores.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Because I don't really like chocolate cereal. And it's not like chocolate. Sorry, it's not Golden Grahams. It's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. A Golden Graham-Z's Cinnamon Toast Crunch with the marshmallows in there. Okay. But so the Fruit Loops is Fruit Loops with marshmallows. It's so really fucking good.
That's not. There's Fruit Loops with marshmallows.
Marshmallows now.
I feel like that's got to be rough if you're a Lucky Charms, like at that company. And
they're the same people. I think they're the same people.
They're the same guy.
I think they are.
Just one guy has a different tie.
No. Like it's like one of those things where the commercial's like something crazy's happening in the cereal factory. And dump them all at the same time.
It's just a bunch of Frosted Flakes going in with the marshmallows, and they got Golden Grahams going in with the peanut butter crunch or whatever. Oh, that's great. I love just the guy who works at this, whoever's in charge of the cereal factory. They go, we don't have any ideas, but like combine them all.
Yeah. They got me.
What are we going to get these kids with?
A long time. And then I got off of it for a little bit.
You know what probably happened? That guy probably got sober for a year, started vaping, and he goes, dude, take all these cereals, man, combine them, bro. And they're like, Mark, this newfound sobriety has upped our profits by 500%. Apparently everyone's high and they love this S'mores cereal that you've developed.
It's cereal polygamy.
Yeah.
You don't have to choose one.
You know what's funny is like when you were a kid, everyone always had that idea. Remember you used to go to the soda fountain and just combine the sodas? Yeah. That's like the next level.
Also college.
Yeah.
College had, the cereal dispensers and you just kind of...
Oh, yeah. You combine a little bit of the good ones. Yeah. Get that good marshmallow in there.
What was this?
Yeah. The little marshmallow. That's me picking up... Oh, you never took... I used to take...
good marshmallow.
I used to... No. I used to pick out... I used to pick out the brown, like the non-sweet from my Lucky Charms. I hated too many of them.
Yeah.
You needed a good ratio.
Yeah.
You
could get marshmallows and add it.
It's like a bar,
But I'd never found that. Just somebody told me.
Oh, wow. That sounds fun.
Just all marshmallows.
So you got addicted to cereal.
But I got off of it.
You got off cereal.
But then I had a stressful week. I had a stressful week and and there's S'mores cereal. I'm addicted to S'mores cereal and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Oh, that sounds great.
They're like the worst thing in the world for you. Peanut butter and jelly is like the worst thing in the world for you.
Going on a sugar binge, then waking up hungover, and you go, I love you. And the guy's like, great. And then you, 5 hours later, like, stop texting me.
You keep saying I'm telling these people I love them, but I'm not telling them that shit.
Well,
I am telling them.
They're inferring love from your actions, I'm sure.
I am telling them how great they are. And
how they mean so much to me. And like how my life has been changed.
And how many things I want to show them about the world.
Yeah. How many plans we're going to make for the next week. And we should totally meet.
I never want to see them again.
Yeah. You're out forever.
I don't know what I want, and then I stick with what I like. I love what I'm with right now.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's
Great
the same
guy.
thing though.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I have the same personality. I'm always like ready to walk away, but there's something different about Scott that just makes me
not want to walk
come
away.
back each day.
Oh, okay.
For a new day. It's never, for me, it's never like a monthly or a yearly. Like I told him there's something wrong maybe with me, but I told him.
No, clearly there's something wrong with you. No, yes.
Within the last week, I was like, you know what I love about you? It feels so new. Like we've been together now for almost 2 years, but it feels so new. He's like, yeah, because you have a goldfish brain, and it's where he's like, you can only remember the last few days of your whole life.
Yeah. You're just living completely in the moment.
Yeah. I think that's what happens with these other guys. They'll hit me up, and I've already moved on.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
you're like, it's
now or never.
Tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
But we had such a good time. That was yesterday.
Yeah. I have a really weird attachment with time and like you're never... While I'm talking, I'm never in the it's never. There's always the moment's always moving forward. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
It's not weird. I mean, I think you're just living in the moment and you're kind of looking forward instead of kind of being like. Thing,
it's like, when can you ever be in the moment? When the moment, as soon as you're in it, it's gone.
Well, for that day, you could be in the moment, and then the next day you're moving on. I mean, it seems like you're kind of talking about it.
It doesn't feel like that for me.
What? That you're.
I never feel like there's a moment where I'm actually in like. No, I'm very connected. I'm very present, sure.
Yeah, of course.
But
you know how present you are? We've never done the intro yet. Guys, welcome to Case of the Mondays podcast. Bunch of minutes in, and this is great. I love doing it. I love when I'm having so much fun with one of my guests. Anyone that's on that I completely forget to do all the stuff in the beginning, but it's great. We did it now. We're doing it right now, guys. Welcome to Case of the Mondays podcast. I have here today very funny Miss Calise Hawkins. Welcome.
Thank you.
Very happy to have her on.
You should do that intro in the beginning where it's just you.
I am. Yeah, I'm going to do that as well.
You're going to start doing that?
I think so.
You should. Everybody loves that.
And then
that
we
moment
do like
in the
that.
front.
Yeah, what we talked about.
You talk
and all that
about
stuff.
what reflections you thought about during the podcast, and you
episode.
just have your own little signature time.
Yeah. 100%. I'm going to do that.
And so if you forget to introduce somebody, that's where you can go.
That's where you could do it again, yeah. And we could also talk about, we had too much fun to do the introduction right away. Or I forgot. Where can people find you?
KaliseHawkins.com, and obviously it's Calise Hawkins, and on every social media thing. I'm like, my website's almost done.
Nice. Okay. And you're on Instagram?
Yeah.
Right. And you're doing a show coming up that was such a cool idea for a comedy show that you did with the late night monologues. Because, that was such a great, for people that don't know, do you want to explain?
It's fun, yes. It's called Late Night Fight. The next one is going to be January 29th at 8 p.m. at Union Hall. And it's basically two comedians going head to head with topical monologue jokes. And they both get the same subject, and they both get 3 jokes to tell. And then, based on the audience's reaction, the judges' reaction, the judges decide who wins the point. It's fun.
It's
really it's
fun,
not brutal.
Yeah.
It's not like people are up there dissing each other.
It's a great way to watch comics work out new stuff, topical stuff, but it's also, like you said, I remember you, if I'm misspeaking, please correct me, but a lot of comics we do these writing packets for these shows. We write all these jokes, monologue jokes or topical jokes, and then kind of never get the chance to say them, never get a chance to just work that muscle.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you just, sure, you can, sometimes you have the stuff that works, but it can feel forced or shoehorned in if you're doing that type of joke that's not an authentic you thing, just in a set. So it's great to have like a place where you're like, oh, these people worked so hard on this for so long. It's like, hey, guess what? Now you can see
if it's any good.
Yeah,
if your recipe works.
Right.
But on top of that, I want to, who knows what you can do as one person, but I really hope that at some point the whole late night show thing is diversified. So what I've been asking the people on my shows to do is to write it in their own voice, unless they would like to write it in a monologue voice of somebody else, or
for sure.
if that's their style. But I've been telling them, write it in your own voice as if you have your own show, and deliver it like you would on your show.
Great.
Because that's people in the audience. The surprising reaction to me was, because it was a very diverse audience. Yeah, seeing them react to people who had the same perspectives as them, because I guess I'm never going to work on a late night show, but I don't think that they're very funny. I don't think those monologue jokes are very funny.
Well, I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
When Donald Trump said, I'm not a Donald Trump fan.
Listen, and we all both work in comedy. You're not playing to
You're going to leave me hanging on almost
please.
saying a Donald Trump positive thing, and then everybody's wondering, what the fuck is she about to agree with about Donald Trump? That is not a good time for me to let you talk.
You put your MAGA hat down outside. I don't understand. Why aren't you? You have a MAGA hat. You should be proud of it, Calise. I don't understand. I was surprised when you told me you voted for him, but it's fine. I was like, this is really against character for Calise. He's a very liberal person.
I didn't vote for him this term, but I think 2020,
I think everyone's gonna be on board.
He's really glowed up.
Things have really changed, and it's heading in the right direction. I think it's gonna be great.
But sometimes the insults that he has towards his enemies are dead on. And when he said, these late night guys, they keep coming after my family, are they even funny? And I was like, oh my God, they're not.
Sure, yeah.
I love Fallon. I love Conan. I think they're funny. I think they're just naturally funny. But I
think they're funny. Yes. But I think the monologue portion is hard. But it's not for us. You're playing to the country, and there's a lot of older people and people that aren't like me or you that are just like, hey, who
decided that though? You know what I mean? It's like they could move on.
They could. On some level, though, they have to also keep it family. Unless people are done with families.
No. You can still do something in a family way.
Right.
Without that, all it is like a misdirection.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with misdirection jokes, but sometimes there's a little more fun way of presenting a joke.
Which I was going to say, one of the cool things about watching or seeing, or even especially talking to people that have been at that show, when someone's on stage, you kind of, like you just said, you get to kind of get a little preview what it would be like if they had a late night show.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
It is so cool.
So each audience member goes, oh, this is literally I'm watching someone, their written pilot is happening right in front of me at this moment, which is super cool. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the show. Yeah.
Well, that's my show. And if the show doesn't work out, I really hope I get a job on a late night show.
Yeah. We were talking about that. I love, we forgot to do the introduction, and then the rest of the whole episode is just us in the introduction talking about the show. It's great. Yeah, Trump is great. Anyway, he's my favorite. He's not unfunny either, though, I have to say, man. Calling that guy funny. Mr. Magoo was the funniest thing. I forget what the guy who it was, but he called somebody Mr. Magoo, and a very official government person had to be like, did you refer to him as Mr. Magoo? And he was like, well, yeah. He looks like Mr. Magoo. He just doubled down and go, I can't. I mean, all the other things I hate, but that's great.
But in our comedy world, before this Me Too movement and all this last things that we've learned about over the last year, right? A lot of things have changed over the last year. And we used to put all of our respect on who's funny. We don't care if they're shitty people or if they're doing nefarious things in their lives. Right. And so I think as comics, I hear that all the time. Trump's so funny. I'm excited to hear what he has to say because we've been trained to value a sense of humor over integrity, over...
No, the guy's a clearly insane choice to be running a country. But, not want to...
But I'd love to see him at an open mic.
Yeah, exactly. I love to just see him walking around saying insane shit.
Unfortunately, America is his open mic.
He's He's Gordon Ramsay. He just says whatever he wants to people and basically yells at them, but in like a different way. And it's, we take it in as entertainment.
Have you ever seen Gordon Ramsay do that with kids? Like, he doesn't yell at them. He has a show with kids, and it's so touching. It'll make you cry. It's
I
so
honestly
sweet.
was so confused when he was being nice. I watched clips, children. And I go, he's not making them cry. I'm like, he's
reinforcing, and they're crying, and he's like, no, you don't. And it's like, wow.
He's the opposite.
That other thing, he's the opposite. The other thing is maybe his brand, and it's also like he's the chef. But wow, if he isn't the sweetest angel to children,
it feels like he's trying.
And it feels real.
It feels completely real, and it feels like he's trying to go, do you like want this person, like when he's doing the yelling, I always go, this feels like he wants them to
kill themselves,
fight him.
I think he has.
I've seen it get close to violence, and that's my favorite part of that show. When the person's like, I don't care about these cameras, I don't care about this job,
and neither
I want to punch this guy in the fucking face.
I think Gordon Ramsay is a bad temper, and he's obviously got possible mental disorder himself. Now, honestly, over the last year, I'm like, oh shit. Mental disorder. But you know what?
You do see that a lot more.
Everybody has a disorder of some sort now. Yeah. And it's not the same as just picking fun at the like weirdo in high school. Everybody's dealing with anxiety, depression, PTSD of some sort.
Yeah,
it's
you got
crazy.
A lot of things that are going on, and you're trying to process it. Which again, I think is healthier to do without alcohol. I think a lot of people agree with that, but everyone's different. I still.
No.
I'm gonna have a drink later tonight.
You don't get to say like everyone's different. I identify as an alcoholic. You gotta respect that.
I identify as my problems get better the drunker I get. I don't see what the big deal is.
I'm interested in the world. One day we're gonna have a world where somebody's like, I identify as racist. You have to respect that.
That'd be crazy. I can't even imagine that.
They're close to it when they said that it was those kids' First Amendment right to do the Nazi salute.
Yeah, okay, so like the kids doing the Nazi salute, it's like, have you met kids? They just don't want to follow rules. Why even put it on? But someone knows
calling it their First Amendment right is bad territory.
You're co-opting that thing that a kid does, which kids do all kinds of insane things. Because they don't know what it means. They just want the reaction from the adults. They're not like evil. I'm sure they're not anti-Semitic kids. They're just sitting there being like, we know this is incredibly wrong,
right?
And we know it's like when you're a kid.
Funny.
Have you seen your grandma fall? Have you ever laughed at that? I know kids that have, and why you think it's funny? Because you're 4.
But at the same time,
you don't realize a 70-year-old woman might have just broken her hip. You go,
they obviously think it's funny, and they're obviously kids. But the problem with it is, even the ones that think it's funny and are being kids, there's something underneath it. Remember back when it was like okay to like bully gay people in school, and maybe they thought it was funny to say a gay thing or to say it
underneath
the F word or whatever.
Somebody else
but then underneath there was also some kind of viciousness underneath it, even if like they've grown and changed.
I thought you were gonna go underneath it. They're gay.
No.
Clearly, what's happening.
No. I'm saying.
No, but it happens too sometimes.
Behavior still has to be addressed in a serious way because these kids are maybe you never know if they're playing or if they're harboring some kind of resentment.
There's 100%, and I gotta say, I don't want to tell this story, but I will tell this story because I feel this fear of not telling the story, and I know it'll probably be when I was okay. So let me just tell the bad part first, and then I'll come up.
I'm gonna tell one too. Then
okay, let's do it.
If yours is good enough.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I'm gonna tell something. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself.
Ashamed. When I was in 5th or 6th grade, I drew a swastika on a desk. Right.
Right.
So I get brought in, and they go.
Everybody was drawing swastikas.
Well, yeah. But here's the thing.
Obviously not me. I don't even know how to say it.
You can't even say it. So this is why this was what you take as like these kids are crazy. I didn't know what a Nazi did. I saw a movie and I saw people, and I honestly thought it was a made up army and a made up story.
You told them that in the principal's office?
Now let me tell you.
They give you.
I go, do you know do you see this on the desk? And I go, yeah. And they're like, this is a problem. I go, well, it'll wipe off. And they're like, because I thought I was there because of graffiti.
Yeah.
For drawing on a desk. You know, people used to draw like smiley faces. And they go, why did you draw that? I go, I don't know. I'm like, what's the problem? They're like, you can't draw on the desk. I go, okay, but like it comes off. So like, what's the big deal? And they're like, do you know what that means? And I was like, what? And they were like, come on. And I was like, what? And they were like, come on. And I go, I have no idea what's going on. They were like, you don't know anything about that. And I go, I have no idea.
You're like, your teachers aren't very good.
Yeah. I was like, I swear to God, he goes, it's World War II. That's a Nazi thing. It's against, I think he said something about World War II Nazis. Like it's against, means you don't like Jewish people. Yes.
That's what it is. He just didn't, he just was like, oh my God.
He was cool with me after that. Okay. We like became very close.
But he was probably very worried.
Shout out Mr. Aronowitz. He was really cool. He was like, always had my back. I got in a lot of trouble for talking, and he realized I was just really dumb. So he goes, I go to him and I go,
not dumb, ADD.
And I go, what? He goes, why would you put this on the desk? I go, hey, can I just be completely honest with you, man? And he goes, yeah. I go, we haven't covered this in class yet. He goes,
my God.
I go, Mr. Ronald, yes. He goes, I'm not trying to be funny. I go, just
my God, yes.
go to Mrs. Smith and ask her. World War II is next month. We haven't gotten to it yet. They just shot the Archduke Ferdinand, and I don't know anything that happens after that. And I've never seen the movie before. And my mom had to come in, and like my mom was crying, and then by the end of it, everyone was like laughing.
Yeah, good.
And my mom was like,
dude, this is your
depressed, just kind of looking at me like, I gotta make this kid.
What's that?
I gotta make this kid.
Climbing
take
up
care
the side
of
of your building.
Yeah.
That is scary. What is that show called that Ari Shaffir used to host and now Roy Woods hosted? That's your that story.
Oh, this is not happening.
That is your that story.
Yeah, I wish it was longer.
No, you have to make jokes, you dum-dum.
No, I know. But I mean...
You talk about the movie. You talk about your exposure. You talk about the principal. You talk about your mom. You talk about the teacher. You know, it's in there.
I know.
It's all in there. It's a 10-minute set.
I'll do it tonight. I have a show tonight.
But it's 10 minutes. I'm just saying, like, you could submit that to... Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's just a crazy thing. I've never had that happen before. And it was just like, to my whole life, I was like, I did something that I didn't realize was like insane, which you learn about afterwards. Like, wow, that's crazy. Anyway, what's
no.
She goes, I'm not going to tell my story. This is fine.
Ignorance, and innocence.
Yeah. Oh, so now yours
mine comes from thinking I'm a comedian. I'm being playful and funny to my friend.
Yeah.
And it definitely, like, looking back on it, and I go, wow, what the fuck was I thinking? There's a lot of those moments now happening on Twitter with these poor,
I know,
like with
go back
Kevin Hart and stuff. There's no way Kevin Hart would kill his, gay son.
Yeah,
There's no way.
Kidding.
Oh my God.
People
like,
just
why?
Used to say stuff, what are you gonna do?
People used to say stuff that was the culture at the time.
I know.
It's the culture at the time to come up with the funniest way to kill your gay son. You know what I mean?
Whatever
it was just being silly.
Yeah.
But what celebrity have you ever fucking heard of that killed their gay anything?
No,
Like, they're the most accepting. Hollywood is gay.
Right.
Do you know how many agents and managers and producers and directors he has to deal with all the time that are gay people?
Right.
There's no way that he's fucking really
sitting there
feeling
kind
this
of being
way.
like, yeah.
And you know what? Let's say that he was and he's grown. It's just not fair. It's not fair to like hold him to these cultural jokes that we used to have. We used to have jokes about things that we didn't know. I honestly didn't know that fat shaming was ever going to be like
a thing. I didn't know
fat people were going to have their own.
You don't say mean things to people.
They're their own race now.
They're their own. That's true.
But we didn't know about thyroid problems. We didn't know about even mental health.
How delicious soda is. You know,
but even
you just
mental
have
health.
a lot of that.
Even mental health.
Stop.
I
Food
was trained.
A thing.
Exactly. I was trained to look at an overweight person and blame them. I found an Onion article about a guy, it was about they focused on this fat guy, satire, but they were saying help, and it was just making it all his fault that he wouldn't stop eating and he expects the government to do something. The Onion was doing articles like that.
Wow.
But it was the culture to blame it on them because it would be like an alcoholic,
Yeah.
They used to call them fataholics.
Yeah. That's
I
crazy.
See, every time you look at the camera and Tanner and you go, I know that you're just suppressing laughing. They used to call it fataholic. You go,
yeah, I know this is really.
I wonder how many times Anderson Cooper has to go.
I wanna. That was wrong. Yeah, that's your name.
But I used to be a plus size model, and my mom.
Oh yeah, I forgot
my mom
about
was
that.
fat, and so my mom made me hate fat people. My mom did this thing, and when I say hate fat people, the idea of just letting yourself go, right? My mom used to do this thing to me, that fat shaming, where she would try to make me. So I was in high school. I was a senior in high school, and she made me try on a pair of jeans that she wore when she was a senior in high school,
Oh, wow.
and I couldn't fit them.
Damn.
And this bitch is at the time, she's 220 pounds.
Right.
And I'm and as a high school senior, I was 158 pounds, but I'm 5'9".
Normal.
It's a little smaller than I am now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
congratulations, I guess. I mean, it's not easy to stay close to the weight in high school.
But the point is she was shaming me off of my current weight when she couldn't even look in the mirror and hold a candle to me at the time. It was just
That's
so
crazy.
The idea of fat shaming was just so in her. Anyway, so. And then I was a plus size model when I was 21, and I was this size. And it's
that's crazy
the idea of being fat is like a plague. And then when you see somebody who's just doing it, you go, why would you do this to yourself before you have any knowledge of why they're in that position?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right?
And so if you find old tweets from 2011 before we have a good education about what people are going through, it's just not fair.
Better. Yeah, it's like that kid that's doing this thing and you don't sit there and kind of
there's
talk
a
to him
Riverdale
and be like,
kid. There's a Riverdale kid that tweeted about some fat jokes, and they're trying to hold him to it now. It's just
he's like, I was 11.
It's not fair.
Or I don't know how old he was, but
every TV show, come on, Shallow Hal.
Right.
Every movie, every TV show reinforced, don't be fat.
Yeah. I have to say, you're not wrong. Growing up, there was definitely a theme. Yeah. And a lot of things, people trying to deal with that.
And like I'm saying, I had a lot of weight issues towards myself. I felt and I feel a lot better now. Thank God for all of this knowledge, because I look at myself in the mirror now and I'm happy. I never used to
really
feel
happy.
I never used to feel good about my body ever.
Place since the last 8 months since you've been in this new kind of Calise.
Yes.
Yeah, this is great.
Sober.
Yeah, sober. Yeah, and just crushing cereal. Left and right. Lots of cereal in your life. It's great. I feel like we didn't get to any of the questions, but
you had questions for me?
I had questions.
That's hilarious.
The worst you ever fucked up at your job.
You.
No, I always have them, but then we were just having fun talking, so I was like, whatever. And we haven't had anyone back
have me back.
Exactly.
As
we'll
a part 2.
Guys, thanks so much for listening. It's Case of Mondays podcast. If you have any stories about the worst you've ever fucked up at your job, or in your relationships or dating or hooking up or whatever, please email us at ofthemondays@gmail.com. And Calise, where can people find you?
KaliseHawkins.com. Eventually.
Once it gets constructed.
Or just Calise Hawkins on all social media.
Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.